And tell me, where does this, everything you've learned, where does it come from? Where did it stem from? What lit that fire in you to?
Well, I became a very happy person by applying all this in my own life. And this is the root why I said, well, I would like to share this with other people, because this has such a beauty. Everybody basically wants to know this, even if they don't know yet that they want to know it. But basically they want to know it, because everybody, and this is 7.8 billion people on this planet, they want to feel good all the time.
Yeah.
That's why a child soldier in Rwanda is shooting with a machine gun on everything that moves, because his buddies tap him on the shoulder and saying, well done.
Yeah.
Okay, so he feels like, yeah, I get recognition by the important people of my life. That's what he feels. And the same thing is true for Mother Teresa. When she received the Peace Nobel Prize and her thank you speech in Oslo, she said, you wouldn't believe it, I did it all for myself. Yeah, and this is true. She created win-win situations in Calcutta. She did what she needed to do to feel good, and this coincided with other people to feel better than without knowing her.
Yeah.
And this is such a beauty. There is such a beauty in this concept. So if you want to make business with people long term, you better think of their interests.
Yeah.
Know their interests, and there's of course a little bit of adjustments necessary. One person wants this and the other person wants that. Adjustments need to be made, but basically always have in your perspective the perspective of the other people. And that's the advantage or the gain or the benefit that other people have from knowing me.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
Well, this is law of attraction, if you wish.
Yeah.
This is the second law we are talking about and writing in this book. And if we look at the third law, that's the law of control. And researchers, some say 10,000, others say we have 50 or 70,000 or something thoughts per day. I haven't counted them, but it's a lot.
A lot of things.
It's a lot of thoughts that we have. And most of the thoughts we are not conscious about. Most of the thoughts are just subconsciously happening. And they're basically coming from what I've talked about a few minutes ago, the internal map of reality. Okay, so if I think I'm not worth it, if I think I'm not good enough, if I think I'm not lovable, that's a lot of internal talk that people have. I would say probably more than 90% of all people have that thought permanently, or at least again and again. So this kind of a self-talk leads to low self-esteem, which leads to actions that lead to manifestations in the outside world that then the back loop, there we experience, we have negative results. I told you so, you're not worthable, you're not worthy. I told you are not lovable. If somebody has always issues with partnership, they all do what Murphy calls self-fulfilling prophecy. Joseph Murphy, self-fulfilling prophecy. I am not lovable, that I act accordingly, and then I get reinforced in my assumption that I'm not lovable.
And the law of control means that you can change that?
Exactly. The first thing, and now I reiterate already, the first thing Awareness creates choice. As soon as I'm aware of what I'm thinking again and again and again and again, I start to get a chance to change this. Only try to find out that you are thinking this, not why you are thinking this. Usually the parents are, are guilty for the children not being happy person. This doesn't matter because this is all past. And digging into the past and asking what has my father said then and that, and what effect has that had on my life and so forth. It doesn't help. It doesn't change the past. The only thing we can do is now decide, what do I want today? And what do I want in my future? And this I can work on. I cannot work on the past. I can just work on my memories and say, well, mom has said this and this has caused this feeling inside of me. Okay, mom, you're a good mom. Sometimes you were wrong. That's fine. I'm wrong myself very often. So forgive me. And now I'm going to do this and that.
Yeah.
So as soon as I become aware of what I'm chronically thinking in terms of negative thoughts, then I can start working on it. And there I have quite a few techniques. One of those is what I call the weeding of negative thoughts, which is basically change from a negative thought that I realize I have it to a chosen thought that I want to think. So, and there comes in a concept that is pretty well known as thinking or speaking out loud affirmations. Affirmations are thoughts, brief thoughts, very positive, very clear, very precise, that say more or less the exact opposite of my negative thoughts. So if I'm not worthy of being happy or being successful or being loved or whatever we desire, then on the other hand, I say, I am a winner. I like myself and I feel good. This is an affirmation that one of the top guns of the American mindset business industry gives everybody, every client, any client, first when they first meet. And Brian Tracy, yes.
And talking about affirmations, there's within your mindset brain tuning service, these kind of affirmation goal cards are something that that you've got. I mean, people can make their own, but you do have them available on your website as well.
Yes.
What should people do with these? How would you use affirmation cards in your daily life?
Affirmation cards, for instance.
Or goal cards, as you might.
Goal cards, affirmation cards,
yes.
Whatever you call them. Short little sentences. And what I recommend is you take your computer or you do it on handwriting, maybe even better, for a specific reason. Little cards, and you laminate them, and you stick them on your computer. You stick them on your windscreen in your car. You stick them on the mirror in your bathroom. You stick them everywhere, so it really is jumping in your face wherever you look. So if you want other people to understand what that is, you just write them out. If you do not want them, you just make first letters of the words. I love myself, I-L-M. And this will remind you, I love myself. Or I feel good, I-F-G. And then comma, I-L-G. So you know what you're talking about, what you're seeing, what it's supposed to remind you of. So it really jumps you in your face.
Yeah.
And by this, repetition is key. you repeat thinking these thoughts again and again and again and again. And quite a few clients of mine who are willing to do these affirmations do them when commuting in a car. And then I recommend to speak out loud. If you're commuting alone, you can very well speak out loud.
Is it more powerful if you say it louder?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right, I go into this. If you listen to me, you listen just to the acoustic phenomena mediated by air. If I'm listening to myself or you listen to yourself, you do this from your mouth through the air into your ear, plus the bone transmission. So from this area, from your neck, where you do the talking, there is transmission through the bones of your head into your ear. That's why listening to an audio or to your cell phone or whatever, where you've spoken something, sounds so differently. You know, the other person, like the mic, just hears
what everyone else hears about you.
Just air transmission. Okay? You are the only person to hear yourself through air transmission plus bone transmission. So that makes a difference. And bone transmission is, of course, very, very effective, because not only is your ear hearing this, but your whole body
feels it as you
feels this. I mean, you can feel whatever you say in your toe.
That's crazy.
So I remember driving from Hamburg to Holland for a weekend sailing. And I just had developed a new affirmation for myself, and this was a ride of 4.5 hours or something. And if I just take the affirmation that I've mentioned already, I feel good, I like myself. I feel good, I like myself is about 2 seconds. Okay? In a minute, it's about 30 times. Okay? In an hour, it's 1,800. So within 6 hours, I have more than 10,000 repetitions.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I did it for 4.5 hours, and I did it whispering.
Did you did that straight for 4.5 hours?
Yes. Yeah, I was alone. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I was very determined to really get it from there to there.
And it works. So that's,
it works, yes.
That's part of the law of control, which is the third law from the 6th. So
my name is Dr. Wolff, a leading expert in mindset transformation and personal success. By joining me, you will unlock proven strategies to elevate your mindset and transform your life. Explore more in the video description.